Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a German sci-fi film called Hidden Reserves. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In the near future, a dystopian society comes into existence in Vienna, Austria. 82% of the Viennese population live below the poverty line, and for only 1% of the population, prosperity and wealth continues to rise. Since more than 2/3 of the population is in serious debt with no sources to pay it, an insurance company creates a new system. After death, the indebted citizens are reanimated and kept in an artificial twilight state. Their lifeless body is used for several purposes as a compensation of the debt they had collected throughout their life. The dead body's mental and physical resources are used for purposes like storing spare human body parts or using their brains to store information. Most young women's corpses are often used as birthing machines. Only the people who have death insurance can avoid the fate of being used, even after death. However, the insurance is so expensive that only a few wealthy people can afford it. The protagonist of the movie is a man named Vincent Bowman. He is an insurance agent at the death insurance field sales. Vincent is one of the wealthy people who convinces the other wealthy ones to get death insurance from their company. In the beginning of the movie, he drives to work for an important meeting with a potential client. Somewhere else in the city, an old woman dies, but her family doesn't want to hand her body to the debt collectors. Hence, they put her in a vacuumed plastic body bag to ship her somewhere else. However, their plan fails when someone informs the soldiers about the dead woman, and they are arrested for their deeds. They bring the woman's body out of the bag and quickly start the resurrection process to keep her body in a vegetative state for future use. Back in the insurance company, Vincent practices persuading the client before the meeting. He plans to show the client the video of a woman being recruited, alongside the video of a normal funeral that will be provided to the people with death insurance. According to him, the side-by-side comparison will definitely get him a deal. Somewhere else, a girl named Lisa Sokolova wears a blonde wig and disguises herself as someone else. She is an activist who works against the current debt-collecting system, along with her fellow activists who have formed a group called the Parallel Society. Their main aim is to turn off the life support camps, where the reserved dead bodies are kept with an attack, but they still have a long way to go to achieve their goal. The men who got arrested yesterday for trying to conduct the old woman's funeral are also members of their group. Lisa and her associate, Fry, discuss the way to get them out of imprisonment so they wouldn't tell the police about their organization. Fry claims that there is no way to retrieve them without a proper ID that they do not own. But Lisa has connections she can talk to and arrange the IDs in a single day. At night, she goes to a party to meet her source named Philip, who hands her a level 2 identification card. Philip is also an insurance sales worker who sells secret information for money. Lisa demands a level 3 card because the mission requires them to gain access to the secret offices. Philip hesitates, but agrees to get the card in 2 days. Vincent has a unique way of persuading potential clients. He researches every aspect of their lives before the meeting and uses them to convince the clients. In other words, this is yet another movie about a stalker. This time, he has memorized an old lady's favorite song and her fears. He is currently dancing with her to the song, while telling her about the possible risks if she doesn't get death insurance. His psychotic plan works, and he closes the deal. He meets his colleague, Dietrich, the next day at work. The old lady was actually Dietrich's client, who he couldn't persuade. He asks Vincent to take yet another one of his clients, Vladimir Sokulo, because he is impossible to persuade. Vladimir is Lisa's wealthy father. Meanwhile, Lisa and the Parallel community are trying to figure out the ways they can attack the geriatric ward, where all the dead people are kept. They plan to destroy it and let the revived dead bodies die in peace. Vincent's boss, Diana Dorn, and the company board interview him for a potential promotion. He is asked to make Lisa's father Vladimir get death insurance if he wants to be promoted. When he returns to work the next morning, he notices that his friend Dietrich has been replaced by Philip. Since Dietrich couldn't make most sales, it doesn't surprise Vincent. At the club, Lisa and Fry wait for Philip to arrive with the identification cards, but he never does. She goes to check in his house, but it turns out that after Philip was promoted, his old apartment went to Dietrich and his wife. Lisa and Fry believe that Philip might have sold them out to the insurance company. Lisa is relieved because she hadn't told Philip about their plan to attack the geriatric ward. She sees Dietrich leaving his house and follows him to the market. He goes to the insurance company office and transfers his death insurance to his unborn child. Following that, he walks to a bridge and commits suicide. He has been troubled by the demotion at work and couldn't handle the pressure anymore. Lisa is beyond surprised at what she witnessed. After his death, Lisa's father's case is transferred to Vincent. Since he is a very important client, if Vincent is unsuccessful in making the deal, he will be demoted to a mere field representative. Vincent takes on the challenge and gathers all the information about Vladimir. Naturally, he also has to learn about Lisa to approach her father with a good deal. He goes to meet Vladimir according to their appointment and happens to bump into Lisa on the way. The two share a brief conversation before she leaves. Vincent knows that he has to go out of his way to persuade Vladimir. He has found out that Vladimir transferred his insurance to Lisa, which she doesn't know about, and because she is so against death insurance, she will surely give it to someone else if she finds out. Vincent blackmails Vladimir using this information, but the man doesn't budge. Because of this, Vincent loses his current position in his job. Diana appoints him as a field representative, with his main aim to catch the activists who are speaking out against the insurance company. She also puts him on Lisa so that he can persuade her father to take out a death insurance policy. Vincent's current apartment is taken away, and he has to move to the satellite and container districts that surround Vienna. His new room is tiny and dusty, something he is not used to. After researching Lisa's life, he finds out she sings in a pub and goes to see her. They chat briefly, after which Lisa returns to the changing room. To her surprise, one of her friends who has been arrested, Chris, has escaped and returned to them. He is heavily injured and won't survive without proper medical assistance. The following day, Vincent again returns to the club, claiming that he wants to hear her sing again. Fry says that Vincent is their only chance to get a level 3 identification, so Lisa will have to befriend him to acquire it. Later, Lisa follows him to his apartment. She rents a room with a clear view of his window and spies on him. While she is at it, she calls him and asks to go out on a date. Vincent is suspicious of the sudden proposal, but since he has to use her to get to her father, he agrees to go. To manipulate her, he reveals that her father has transferred his insurance to her. The following day, Lisa meets Chris, who is on the verge of death. He begs her to not let him go to the geriatric ward. Lisa quickly rushes to the insurance company and transfers her insurance to Chris. He dies shortly after, but the police leave him because of the insurance. The following day at work, Vincent is informed that Lisa's father, Vladimir, has been in an accident and is heavily injured. It is clear to him that the accident was the company's plan to take over Vladimir's wealth. He has no basis to prove the claim. He quickly goes to meet Lisa, who is devastated by her father's accident. He clarifies that he wasn't the one behind it, but she doesn't believe him. She doesn't even get to see her father because without insurance, his body belongs to the company. She is dedicated to getting him out of the geriatric ward. At night, Vincent goes to meet her in her apartment. They eventually kiss and make love, but when he is asleep, Lisa scans his wrist and steals his third-level identification. Her main reason for spending the night with him was to use him to get to the ward and free her father. The next day, the company and Vincent find out that she was successful in getting him out of the geriatric ward. Diana blames him for being careless, but Vincent had put a tracker in Lisa's bike. Using it, the police find her father and bring him back to the geriatric ward. Lisa tries to save him, but Vincent stops her, claiming that they will arrest her if she interferes. The following day, he goes to the pub again. Lisa cannot help but tear up after seeing him. He claims that the insurance company used him to get to her and that he had no connection with her father's accident. He no longer wants to help the company and is now on her side. She takes him to the life support camp, where they see bodies of people being taken inside the geriatric ward. Vincent notices that one of the bodies is Dietrich's. He is disgusted that the company is profiting from their employee's death. Lisa tells him that she needs a level 3 identification card to get to her father and bring him out. Vincent agrees to give her his card if she promises that someone else will enter the ward to get her father, because he doesn't want to put Lisa's life in danger. Lisa then brings him to an abandoned water park where she used to play as a kid. She reminisces about her childhood days and claims that the park is her favorite place in the entire world. That night, the two make love and share the card's information. The following day, Lisa disguises herself as an employee from the insurance company, planning to disobey Vincent and go to the ward herself. She and the others from the Parallel Society devise an elaborate plan to paralyze the geriatric ward from the inside with an electromagnet. Lisa enters the establishment without any trouble. Vincent finds out about this and follows her. Everything goes according to the plan, but when Lisa is about to attack, Philip unexpectedly stops her. It turns out that his job from the very beginning was to find out about the Parallel Society's plan and stop it. Outside, Fry is also arrested. Lisa is brought to her father when Vincent suddenly attacks the guard in an attempt to help her. However, before she can escape, she is shot by Phillips. She limps towards a shocked Vincent and passes away before his eyes. Phillips raises his gun to shoot him as well, but stops. When Vincent opens his eyes again, Diana is in front of him. She says that unwittingly, Vincent helped them with the job, so he is promoted again and is allowed to move out of the satellite town. He then gets up and sneaks into the geriatric ward to look for Lisa. He finds her with the surrogate mothers, where she is artificially kept alive to be impregnated later. He loosens her life-sustaining tubes and brings her out of the ward. Diana sees this, but doesn't stop him. At last, he lets her drown in an old water slide that she used to visit as a child. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.